Bless up, everyone. Bada Scott here. Monday meditations. Enough respect to you all. Give thanks for tuning in. It's Monday. It's roughly 4:44 p.m. Eastern Time, which means it's time for another episode of Monday Meditation. So give thanks for tuning in. Hope everyone's feeling happy, feeling healthy. If this is your first time tuning in, then welcome. This happens every Monday. How it works: Monday morning, I usually post a short video with the topic of discussion, and these topics are really just meant to get you to think a little bit deeper about things, to expand your consciousness, hopefully help you to become the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And then we come back here, Facebook Live, 4:44 p.m. Eastern Time, and we discuss that topic in more detail. So give thanks again for tuning in. Again, hope everyone's feeling happy, feeling healthy. It's been a nice weekend. Glad to be able to be here and sharing these vibes with you today on this Monday. Please feel free to invite your friends to come watch the broadcast. Please feel free to share it. If you're watching this on YouTube, give thanks for also visiting me here. Make sure you share it on all your social media. Trying to boost the page, trying to get as many followers and viewers and subscribers as possible. So the more we can spread this, then the more people that it can actually help. And I really think today's topic is definitely something that can be of great benefit to a lot of people. A lot, especially here in the United States, especially here in an urban, populated environment. This is something that a lot of people don't know a whole lot about, and it has a lot of impact and effect on our structure, on our bodies, on how things operate within our bodies. And it's definitely something that I think has a lot of mixed information out there. Like today, when I was just trying to do general research, I came across a lot of information trying to make fluoride seem as good as possible. In one instance, it likened it to the same thing really as pumpkin pie, and so I was like, "Wow, this is pretty. This is pretty interesting. Why how they're doing this like this?" But so I realized that it's probably just something that most people don't know about. And I've talked about fluoride before. I've talked about calcification of the pineal gland, how to decalcify your pineal gland, and all of these things are related. And we'll get into this today. I won't get into too much about pineal gland calcification and how to decalcify your pineal gland today. Mainly I want to talk about fluoride and how to avoid it, how to get it out of your water supply, and make it safer for you and your family in your own home. Because if you have a suburb, a city home, a home that gets its water from a municipal source, which is I think 80 or 90% of the population in the United States, then you're going to be drinking fluoridated water. And you should probably know what that is, right? Since you're drinking it. So, now fluoride in general, fluoride just by itself, naturally occurring fluoride, there's no harm in this, because it's not typically found as just fluoride. Fluoride is it is, as a gas form, it is known as fluorine. As a crystalline form, it is known as fluorite. But it's a mineral, and these minerals are found naturally in the soil and in water supplies all over the world. In some areas, there's higher concentration of fluoride naturally in the water supply and in the ground supply, the soil, than in other places. So it is a natural thing. It's not completely man-made. However, what you would typically find in nature is going to be calcium fluoride, which is fluoride that has bonded to calcium already. Now, what makes fluoride effective and how it's been used in humans and how it's been used to affect and to quote unquote benefit humanity is by attaching itself to calcium and attracting calcium to it. So fluoridation is something that is done to the water supply in order to bring up the fluoride levels in the water that people drink. Because again, it is found in natural water sources as well to some degree. Like it's found in spring water, it's found in mountain water, it's found, you know what I mean? So it's found in naturally occurring water in lakes and streams and rivers, because it's a mineral deposit. It comes from the earth. It is a mineral. However, the water or the fluoride that's being used to treat water supplies in cities is not naturally occurring calcium fluoride. It's actually a byproduct, or it's extracted from other rocks. It's extracted from other collections or deposits within earth materials. Most commonly, it's collected or it's extracted from phosphate mining, and that happens primarily in Florida. So a lot of the fluoride supply that's actually used to fluoridate the water all over the country is taken from Florida. Florida has a huge phosphate production process that happens all throughout Central Florida, and this produces a lot of fluoride in its byproduct. So when you extract the phosphate out of the ground, you have to take everything else out of it, or strip everything else away from it in order to have the phosphate by itself, which is then used to make fertilizers, all sorts of stuff. It's used in all different types of industries. But what's left over is essentially a chemical compound that contains fluoride. Now, the downside to this is that it also usually contains a lot of other heavy metals as well, like aluminum, calcium, and the other one, camdium, something like that, some other sea mineral metal. but so it's not just fluoride that they get from this phosphate mining. It's essentially like a chemical soup that has fluoride in it, and then this is purified and distributed to municipalities, and they put it into the water supply in order to raise the fluoride levels to the recommended safe levels that have been issued by the FDA. Now, just a side note, these safe levels were issued back in 1962. So the amount of fluoride that we're getting in our water is really based on information relative to when this fluoridation process first started in the water supply. So it first started in the 40s, in 1945. It really, though, became popular throughout the United States in 1960. So in 1962 is when they kind of like regulated the national safe levels of fluoride within your water supply. So so all of this, the fluoride levels that are found within water supplies now are all based on these numbers from back then. And there have been additional studies to try to figure out what is the recommended safe level and what happens if you have too much or too little fluoride within your system. So what's going to happen? Chris says, so alkaline water has high fluoride levels. It depends. And yes, if you have any questions as we're going along, feel free to list them below, and I'll just address them as they come through. Alkaline water can have high fluoride levels, but it doesn't mean that it is going to have fluoride in it, or at least high dangerous amounts. Again, really, if you're getting an alkaline water source, it's most likely going to be a natural water source in the first place, right? In which case, the fluoride that's going to be found in there is naturally occurring fluoride, which is good for you. So I don't want people to think that, just when you hear the word fluoride, even in the naturally occurring sense, that's going to be bad for you. Let me give you some information. So there are two types of fluoride. Calcium fluoride, which appears naturally in underground water supplies, is relatively benign. However, too much consumed daily can lead to bone or dental problems. Calcium is used to counter fluoride poisoning when it occurs. So if you have fluoride poisoning, so let's say you decided you wanted to eat that whole tube of Crest toothpaste, you're going to have fluoride poisoning. There's actually a warning on the back of your toothpaste that says if you should swallow more than a pea-sized amount, to call poison control, because fluoride is actually a neurotoxin. It is actually a poison that is going to affect all different parts of your body. So calcium is used to counter fluoride poisoning when it occurs. So if you do eat a whole bunch of fluoride, or you drink a whole bunch of fluoride and you get fluoride poisoning, they're going to give you calcium in order to attach itself to the fluoride and be flushed from your body. This redeeming factor indicates that calcium is naturally formed. Calcium in naturally formed calcium fluoride neutralizes much of fluoride's toxic effects. So calcium fluoride found in nature is, again, not toxic. It's countered all of fluoride's inherently toxic effects because it's already been bonded with calcium. The fluoride molecule, it wants to attract metals to it. It wants to attract heavy metals into it. So when there's fluoride present, it's going to want to bond to another metal. Calcium is a metal. And so those molecules, the idea behind it is that it attaches itself to the outside of your teeth, bonds with the calcium, and rebuilds your teeth in the process. But the type of fluoride that's added to water supplies and other beverages and foods are waste products of nuclear, aluminum, and now mostly phosphate, which is a fertilizer industry. The EPA has classified these as toxins: fluorosilicate acid, sodium silicofluoride, and sodium fluoride. Sodium fluoride is the primary fluoride substance that's added to water supplies. Sodium fluoride is classified as a neurotoxin. So if you ingest sodium fluoride by itself, you're poisoning yourself. So anyway, so they basically just they've determined that a little bit of this amount is okay, but too much of it is going to be bad. Now here's the downside to having it in your water supply. Nobody can regulate how many glasses of water you are going to drink in a day. Let's say you're really busy and you play sports, or you have a job where you work outside. If you drink a lot of tap water throughout the day, you're probably consuming more than the recommended safe levels of fluoride every day. That's why it's very irregular when it is available in such a generally accessible supply. So basically, anybody can get tap water. Anybody can turn on a spigot somewhere, find a hose, and water's going to come out of that, and they can drink it. If it's coming from a city source, it's going to be technically safe to drink. However, nobody's going to be able to stand there over you and say, oh, you need to stop drinking right now. You've drank too much water. You have too much fluoride in your system. No, you're going to keep drinking it if you're thirsty. You need it. If you're outside working, if you're busy, if you're doing something, if you're playing sports, if you're building houses, if you're working construction, if you're just active, you're going to be drinking more water than somebody who's not. And this means you're going to be consuming higher levels of fluoride than people who don't. Than people who don't drink as much water. So that's the danger in it being in your water supply. So the fact that it's not naturally occurring fluoride, the fact that it can't be regulated as to how much water you're going to drink in the course of a day, and also fluoride attaches itself to more than just your bones. Fluoride also attaches itself to soft tissue. So in other words, if there's a tissue in your body that filters through a lot of blood, it's going to also filter all of the stuff that's in your blood, including all of the metals and the minerals and materials that are in it. And so organs that have high blood flow are going to have higher deposits of fluoride within them and can lead to calcification. So drinking high levels of fluoride are going to calcify things like your liver, your kidneys, your intestines, but more so things that get high blood flow. So like your heart, your pineal gland. These things can be calcified from excess fluoride consumption. So fluoride, again, though it's natural, if you were to find it in your water supply, like if you drink well water or spring water or mountain water, glacier water, those types of things are going to have fluoride in them in naturally occurring states as calcium fluoride. When it's added to your municipal water supply, that's actually a poisonous substance that's being put into your water. Okay, so now what? Now you know you got poison in your water. Every time you go to cook some pasta or some rice or wash your vegetables or take a shower or anything, not let alone just drink it, anything that you're going to use your city water supply for, it's going to potentially fluoride or fluoridate your system as well. So there are ways to get around this. Now obviously for your drinking supply, it's very easy to get bottled water, spring water, things of that nature. So you can buy these at stores. You know, you can go to most stores and find a bottled natural water source that has been bottled and put up for sale. So if you have access to naturally occurring water, either in a well form, a spring form, or you're outside the city supply and it's not fluoridated, then props to that. Try to consume that in as much of your water needs as possible. But if you're like 80% of the rest of the population in the United States, you get your water from pipe water, from city water, from from the pipes and everything that flow, all throughout the neighborhoods and eventually reach your house into your faucets. So there are ways to remove fluoride and other harmful materials that may be found in that water. And it's actually probably a lot cheaper than you would think. So when I first became a homeowner, I had no idea about fluoridation and really how widespread and how dangerous it really was in the water supply. When I first bought this house, it did have a reverse osmosis system as part of the selling feature, and I was like, that's awesome. So now my water has been reverse osmosified, which is the only real filtration process that will remove fluoride from the water. You can't remove fluoride just by running it through a carbon filter or like a sand filter or things like that, because it bonds with the molecules. It bonds with it bonds with the elements within your water. So I wanted to touch on some other things too, really, before I get into actually how to remove fluoride from the water too, and why it is still bad to ingest it into your body. When it does consolidate in your pineal gland, which is the first place that it's going to consolidate in, it's actually going to have a lot more adverse effects. When your pineal gland has been calcified with or from fluoride by the calcium deposits that fluoride has attracted to it, it's going to not work as well. So the pineal gland has a couple main functions. Mainly the pineal gland's number one job is to produce melatonin. And melatonin is very important to us as humans. Melatonin is used to perform three main roles. And the first one is to maintain our circadian rhythm, which is our sleep and wake cycle. When your pineal gland senses that there is less light occurring in your environment, it starts to create melatonin, which makes you sleepy, tells you need to go to bed. It's basically what governs your sleep cycle. So, creating melatonin is what tells you, as a healthy human, that it's time to go to bed and rest, rejuvenate, and rebuild yourself. It also regulates the onset of puberty in females. So, having a constant, normal supply of melatonin keeps puberty from happening faster. And it also helps protect the body from cell damage caused by free radicals. So melatonin is actually an antioxidant. So it helps eliminate these oxidizing factors, this oxidation stress from our brains, from these tissues, and causing problems. So fluoride does affect the brain as well in other areas, but again, primarily through the pineal gland. The effects of fluoride on the brain is that it's causing oxidative stress, and this is typically observed in subject's brain with three distinct characteristics. Fluoride exposure, not exposure, fluoride exposure decreases the level of antioxidant enzymes in the brain. Antioxidants enzymes play a role as natural defense against oxidative stress in the body. Fluoride exposure increases the level of lipid peroxidation in the brain, which is an indicator of oxidative stress. And these toxic effects were reduced by simultaneous treatment with antioxidant vitamins, vitamin C and vitamin E. So, so one of melatonin's most powerful roles is the role that it plays as an antioxidant in warding off and reducing oxidative stress. So anything that reduces melatonin levels in the body would therefore be expected to reduce the body's defense against oxidative stress in the brain, which leads to more oxidative stress. So oxidative stress in your brain is going to lead to neurodegenerative disorders. Now, these are the things that, like, what we view as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, dementia. All of these things are neurodegenerative disorders. So it's when the neurons in our brains stop working right. They stop firing like they should. And this is due to calcification. So when there's too much calcium buildup due to fluoride presence, things don't work like they're supposed to. So it's like, when calcium builds up in your drains and in your shower heads, if you have too much calcium buildup, it's not going to flow right. The same thing happens in your brain. If you have too much calcium buildup in your pineal gland and in your other gland system, your other endocrine systems, they're not going to function properly. And this means your entire system is not going to function right, which is going to lead to additional problems. And some of these are, again, life-altering, life-debilitating. Brain diseases and brain issues are very hard to deal with. Watching somebody's mental state deteriorate before you is a very painful thing to go through. And it's unfortunate that a lot of this could have been prevented from not drinking tap water. so, so I think that was everything that I wanted to touch on. So, how are ways that you can avoid or remove fluoride from your water? Well, again, buying bottled or spring water is a great way just to get your drinking water free of this fluoride additive. You will still be consuming fluoride, okay? But again, it's going to be calcium fluoride, so it's going to be non-toxic. Okay, the next thing that you can do is you can actually purchase a filtration system for your entire home. You can buy an entire reverse osmosis filtration system that's going to filter all of the water that comes into your home from the city. And these are also relatively inexpensive. They can range from like $200, $300 to $600. I think I've seen them maybe even a little bit higher, $700. But even still, for the investment of $600, you can make sure that all of the water that comes into your house has been reverse osmosified and freed from fluoride. Now again, I mentioned before, general filters or like basic carbon filters, those will not remove fluoride from your water supply. The only way to remove it from the water supply is using reverse osmosis. So getting a reverse osmosis system, again, for your entire house, not a bad investment in guaranteeing that all of your water, your shower water, your toilet water, your everything is free of fluoride. Do you really need to go to that extent? Perhaps not. The amount of fluoride that's going to be absorbed through your skin is less than what's going to be absorbed through your internal organs when you drink it. So showering with fluoridated water is not as dangerous as drinking fluoridated water. Yes, you are still going to absorb some, but not nearly as much. But knowing that you can turn on any faucet in your house and know that it's not going to have fluoride in it is a pretty reassuring thought to have. But again, you may not need to go to that full extent. Say you just want to have a source of clean, non-fluoridated water that you may want to use for drinking or cooking or anything like that. For $150 to about $250, I think I've seen them go for as well. They have simple under sink filtration systems that will remove fluoride, lead, and a lot of the other contaminants that can be found in a city water supply, chlorine, all of that stuff. It can remove all of these things from your water to where you're basically drinking as pure water as you can get, as purified of a water as you can get. And these things are, again, relatively cheap. I was hoping to have it here already, but I'm having a reverse osmosis system delivered to my house today. It was like $150. That's it. My Empress just said that was our new reverse osmosis system being delivered. Oh, sweet. So it just got delivered. Awesome. So the dogs barking that you heard a few minutes ago, that was my reverse osmosis system being delivered to the house. And it takes very little time to set up. And what this is going to do is this is going to give you a source of non-fluoridated water. So if you wanted to use it for cooking, for drinking, you can drink it right from the tap. It gives you its own tap, and it has like a 3-gallon reservoir. It goes through up to 50 gallons per day. So we're not going to consume 50 gallons of water in a day. So within my family, within my household, that's all I need. But really, that's probably all most people are going to need. If you just have a source of non-toxic water that you can cook with, make beverages with, clean your food with, make coffee with, make tea with. These are the things that you want, that most people don't think about. You just go to fill up your coffee pot with tap water. You don't think that you're taking fluoride and making it into fluoride coffee, but that's what's happening. A coffee filter is not going to filter out fluoride from your water. It's just as bad. So having a source to where you can access clean, non-fluoridated water is, again, very accessible. From 150 to about 250 bucks. That's all you need to invest to remove the fluoride out of your water supply. Now, there's other levels of systems too. So in these general removal systems, they will remove pretty much everything from your water supply. All of the contaminants, all of the particulates, all of the potentially harmful things, but it also does remove a lot of the mineral content. So the water that you're going to be drinking from this reverse osmosis system is not going to be alkaline, most likely. It's probably just going to have a just slightly under neutral pH, but it's not going to have any minerals in it either. So if that's the only water that you're consuming, that might be an issue. So they do have additional filtration systems that actually add minerals back into the water, adjust the pH, and the alkaline, well, adjust the pH, thus making it more alkaline. So they're a little bit more expensive. These systems usually run about 300 bucks, but you can basically install this system into your kitchen water supply and have a source of mineralized, alkaline, reverse osmosis, non-fluoridated water. So yeah, it is pretty easy to remove this from your supply and start to live a little bit healthier and have less of this toxin embedded into your internal organs. Most of the fluoride that you do consume is going to be passed through your kidneys and excreted by your kidneys. So it's going to be removed from your bloodstream by your kidneys. But that's only half of it. The other half is going to stay in your body and be deposited in your kidneys, in your liver, in your pineal gland, in the soft tissues of your body. So, also within your bones. Dental fluorosis and skeletal fluorosis is excess fluoride depositing in your bones, creating, mainly in your teeth, it's going to create spots, like dark spots or white spots on your teeth, which can lead to self-esteem issues, or social anxiety issues, all sorts of stuff, especially in children. But also these deposits on your bones can have issues as well. So thirsty, drinking this spring water. So basically fluoride, not so great for you. Again, even though if you go on the internet and if you just look up fluoridation of water, most of the information that you're going to find is going to indicate that this has been a very successful process. It's actually been hailed as one of the greatest scientific and medical breakthroughs in the Western world. So there's a lot of information that is going to make the fluoridation process seem very beneficial and very useful and not dangerous at all. However, this is just simply not the case. There were studies in lab rats and in other animals where when they were exposed to fluoride, it brought on puberty much earlier, but it also kind calcify their pineal glands so fast. I mentioned in my post this morning that Dr. Paul Burke, who was with the National Cancer Institute for 34 years, said that fluoride is the chemical that causes more death in humans via cancer and does it faster than any other chemical. So basically, the chemical solution that we are using to fluoridate the water supply is a cancerous solution. It is known to cause cancer in humans, and it does so at a very fast rate. So, but again, if you do look this up, you are going to find a lot of information that's going to say that this just isn't true. Which I wonder why this is. I wonder. Anthony says, a Brita or fridge filter isn't going to cut it. Haha, saving for a whole house system right now. Bought a fluoride filter pitcher for the interim. Yes, that's correct. A Brita filter, the filters that are in your fridge, those unfortunately are not going to remove fluoride. The Berkey filter, I have read that this can remove fluoride, but I haven't used one of these myself, so I don't know for sure. But this is a great portable filter that I know removes a lot of contaminants. It will remove all of the bacteria, all the things that are going to make you sick from water. So like if you happen to be out in the wilderness somewhere and you don't have a water supply, but you happen to find some standing water somewhere, you can run it through a Berkey and drink it and feel pretty safe about it. So, but yes, getting a whole house system is definitely, it's relatively inexpensive considering it's affecting your entire house. And it's a pretty nice peace of mind to have as well. So, big up Deanna. Deanna says hello from Alabama today. Cooking and drinking and brushing teeth and washing hair and face. Yes, using your reverse osmosis system, reverse osmosis system, that's such a hard word to say, is definitely using that water from that system is great for cooking, drinking, brushing your teeth, washing your hair. Because using your standard water, your regular pipe water, has fluoride in it. Now, if you're using the fluoride water just to wash your teeth, just to brush your teeth and spit it out, that's not as bad. But fluoride in your toothpaste is also something that, you know, is present. And like I said, on the back of your toothpaste, if it is a fluoridated toothpaste, there's going to be a poison control warning indicating that if you swallow anything more than a pea-sized amount, that you need to call poison control, because fluoride is a poison. So, there are lots of non-fluoride toothpaste out there. I think the one that we use right now is a neem-based toothpaste. But there's a lot of them. There's all sorts of different brands, Tom's, Burt's Bees, Earth Paste. What are all the other ones? We've tried almost all of them. You can also make your own toothpaste. I've made my own toothpaste, and I did for a long time, using coconut oil, baking soda, mint essential oils. So, you know, yes, the doTERRA toothpaste, which is also, you know, if you're going to make your own, you're going to need some sort of essential oil to put in there to flavor it, unless you like the taste of baking soda and coconut oil. It's not so great. You want to put some mint in there, or some sort of some flavoring in there. Orange oil, lemon oil, mint oil, and obviously doTERRA oils are the best to use for that case as well. But doTERRA also makes a fluoride-free toothpaste that you can use. So the doTERRA toothpaste, neem toothpaste, all sorts of different toothpaste options out there to avoid fluoride. Yep, great ideas. My Empress Desiree says making pasta. Definitely, yeah. think about the water that's absorbed into the things that you're making. So if you're making something that, say you're boiling corn in water, yes, you're still going to be absorbing some of the water into that corn, but the amount relative compared to like rice, pasta, potatoes, much less. So, but again, once you buy your reverse osmosis system, you would just use that water to cook all your food anyway, just to guarantee that you're safe. So, and you do have to change the filters in these reverse osmosis systems. I've probably said reverse osmosis the whole time during the entire broadcast, now that I'm thinking. Reverse osmosis. You do have to change the filters in your reverse osmosis system about every 6 or 8 months, I think is what it said. But those are still relatively cheap. I think 20 or 30 bucks for a new set of filters. Maybe even less if you buy them in bulk. So, Deanna says, make sure you are eating a litmof and raw veggies. A lot of raw for minerals. Okay, make sure you're eating a lot of raw veggies for minerals. Yes. Obviously, consuming more whole food, plant-based foods are going to give you higher minerals and higher vitamins as well, which are also going to help you live longer and better. So yeah, I guess that's about it. If there's no more questions, basically, fluoride in the municipal water supply and your city water supply is very common throughout the United States, and this affects a lot of people. Most people are unaware that fluoride poisoning, fluoride toxicity, fluorosis even exists. If you ask the general person if they use fluoride toothpaste or drink tap water, they're probably going to say yes, because most people don't know of the effects that it has on other parts of your body besides just your teeth and your bones. So, do research, look up the effects of fluoride on your systems, and decide for yourself if you want to consume this stuff. If you don't want to consume it, there are ways to remove it from your water supply very easily and inexpensively. So if you want a whole house system, you're probably looking about $600-800 bucks. If you want just a under sink supply system, $150-200 bucks. That's it. So I think that's a very small investment to make to ensure that you're going to have non-toxic drinking water in your house, or at least accessible in your house for you and your family. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to message me, to reach out, to leave them in the comments. If you're watching this as a rerun, I'll address all the questions as they come through as well. Again, thank you for the support. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications, that way you can catch the videos whenever they get uploaded. And yeah, enough respect. I'll catch you guys next Monday. Bless.